Get the YouTube set up over here and then we'll be ready to go. Hope everybody had a great weekend and is ready to have a great week. All right, we're live over there. Hey, welcome in everybody at Stuart with Franklin Hill Ventures. Hey, Lillian, Penguin Boss, Zach Skeleton, my daughter Fonz, Dale Small, Dustin Ferguson, Chicago Burbs Vintage, and Lynn, anybody else that I've missed, I appreciate you stopping by. This is my regular Monday morning show I do, just a quick 30-minute show, kind of talk about what all we did over the weekend, things we found, answer any questions anybody might have, see if anybody else did anything exciting. Hey, good morning, Mary and Claude. Thanks for coming in. This weekend, I went to the 127 yard sale. Not sure if anybody else went. Had a good time. It was different than the 21 yard sale that I did the week before. It was a lot more crowded, a lot more, I don't know if professional vendors is the right word, but you know what I mean. There were a lot more, I guess, people who weren't willing to negotiate. I mean, it's literally like some people would move their whole antique mall and just put it in a tent in a field. And, they had antique mall prices, which is fine. Um, they were selling a lot of stuff, I'm sure, to collectors. But with me looking to resell, I did not buy a lot from those kind of people. But fortunately, there were plenty of other people, who were willing to deal and got some really cool stuff. And if y'all want to, here in just a couple of minutes, we can go out to the car and look at some of the things that I got. Yeah, but between the two weekends, the 21 yard sale in North Carolina and Virginia, and the 127 that I went in Crossville, Tennessee, is where I started. And then we went north and really only made it we were probably there 4 or 5 hours and only made it 20 or 30 miles. So did not make it far, but we got a lot of stuff. Hey, Gina, welcome in. Cat's Dance Mom. People are flying in so quick I can't see everybody. Hey, Brian, Mr. Buys a Lot. SJTG 1989 Kiwi Collectibles. Appreciate all y'all stopping by. Did anybody else go to the 127 over the weekend? I know that it was funny. I ran into if you watch YouTube at all, I ran into Bearded Thrift Machine at one of the stops where I went. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos, but I did recognize him and a little bit. And then he had a big sticker on the back of his car that said Bearded Thrift Machine. So that was kind of the tell that was who it was. So we talked to him and his wife for a little bit, and they were really nice. And they had come over from South Carolina, but that was really the only person I ran into that I either kind of recognized or knew. I didn't run into anybody else. If you've ever been to that, though, just the pure number of vendors at that thing was incredible. I mean, literally, like every maybe mile, there would be a field with 50 tents at least in it, and it was everything from junk. I mean, true flea market type stuff, all the way up to, like I mentioned, what I would consider like really nice high end antiques. So there was a little bit of everything and some really good food as well. I got a really good panini for lunch on Saturday, and then also got some homemade pork rinds, which were really good. Hey, Vintage Curator, thanks for coming in. Yeah, did you find anything, Lillian? Did you come home with the whole carload? I saw some of your videos, reels and stuff you'd done. It looked like you had a really good time. Hey, welcome in, Bandel 209, Koozie, Grant Stacy, anybody else I've missed. I appreciate you coming in. Lots of Christmas stuff. So getting ready for a theme show and whatnot, I'm sure. Hey, Fish Fever 83. Yeah, I went to the 127 with a friend of mine, Charlie from Clinton, and he's like a big knife guy and things like that. So he was looking for that sort of thing. I actually found several ephemera items that I'll be bringing to whatnot, and then some other cool, some religious stuff, which, religious stuff always sells, whether it's Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, any of that stuff sells really well. Um, but yeah, between the 2 weekends, it was quite a haul. Thanks for the hearts, everybody. Hey, gift collector, GLT collectors, thanks, collectibles, thanks for coming in. I was on the, if you, actually on a podcast last night. I was on the Slim Flippers podcast with Wes. So that was fun. I didn't realize I was even going to be on the show. I found out Wes lives in the same area I live on, so I just reached out to him to see if he wanted to get together. We actually went to rival high school, so ran with a lot of the same people. And so we hooked up at 8:30 last night via Zoom. And then he goes, "Hey, while you're here, we'll just go ahead and do a podcast episode." So that'll be coming out on Spotify and YouTube pretty soon. So if you want to watch that, yeah, just look for Slim Flippers, and you can find Wes's channel. He's a really good interviewer and has done some really cool interviews. He did one with, if you like wrestling, he did one with Kane, Glenn Jacobs, who's also the mayor of Knoxville. That's one of our claims to fame. We have a WWE wrestler as our mayor. And then he's interviewed, he did one with Prison to Profit. If you watch him, that was an excellent interview. He has such an incredible story. I think he did one with the Rural Squirrel. He's done quite a few different interviews though. And I've enjoyed watching them all and was really honored that he asked me to be on the show. So, hey, Chevy Roger, Toys in the Park, Quaker Valley Crafts. Tell you what, we're got about 20 minutes left. I usually try to end this right at 9 o'clock. We'll do a giveaway right at the end, but if y'all want to, if anybody's interested, we can head out to my car and I'll kind of show you some of the stuff I found this weekend. I think it's quit raining, so let me untether from my power supply here and we will walk out here. Kind of like a field trip, I guess. I think I'll leave my glasses on. I did find here, let me flip my camera around. I did get these. It was kind of a private pick that I did. A guy called me, but it's all this cast iron, like utensils. Thought it was pretty cool. This one's like marked with, I guess, whoever's name used it. I got those and a bunch of beer trays at a guy's house. It's a guy who comes in one of my antique malls, and he gave me a call and said they were getting ready to move and wanted to know if I wanted to come look at stuff. So headed out here into the mess that is my garage. And then we'll head outside. Here's all the stuff I got from the 21 yard sale last weekend. So if you have watched my YouTube video, you've already seen all this stuff. But got a couple of really cool religious pictures. Got this really creepy head here. Bunch of old vintage board games. A metronome. Some old tins. Some puzzles. Got this really nice chalkware piece here. My wife found that one. We went to this house that was built in the 1800s, and it was just crammed full. We literally could have stayed there all day, but it was 150 degrees in the house and so hot. And if anybody's watching on YouTube, I'm not watching the chat now, so come on over to Whatnot and you can see us. Some more religious stuff picked up. That's from Fontanini, like the people who make the figurines. There, that wall hanging. Cool metal horse. A creepy UT clown. You go to North Carolina and you found a UT clown, but a couple of other creepy clowns. So anyway, let me head out here to the car. My wife actually picked these Adirondack chairs up off the side of the road the other day. She was out walking in the neighborhood and somebody had put them out with the free sign. And she called me and said, "Hey, can you come over here with the car and get them?" So it took me 3 trips in the car to get them. But she's already pressure washed them. They were really nasty, and she's going to stain them. And we don't know if we're going to keep them or sell them yet. But she's gotten good at finding things on the side of the road. She found these 3 Adirondack chairs a couple weeks ago. Actually, I guess just last week. And then a couple of weeks ago, she found a ceramic Christmas tree and a brass lamp, a vintage brass lamp, and I sold the ceramic Christmas tree for $75, I think, and then that brass lamp for 60. And they just were like with the trash. I don't know why somebody was throwing away a ceramic Christmas tree, but who knows? But so far our neighborhoods, or this year our neighborhood's been really good for that. So thought this was really neat. It's like a lenticular nether religious print. I've been doing really well on the religious stuff, finding it here lately. Let's see what else in here. Yeah, and then yet another, like a Virgin Mary statue there. It was given as a gift in 1998, so that one's not particularly old, I don't guess, but it's still really cool. It's made of wood. Whole box of letters. Those will be coming to Whatnot at some point. I have not gone through them at all to see what's in there, but they just sold me the whole box of stuff. Got this, I guess you'd call it a plant stand. This green metal plant stand, and I'll put it in the booth. It'll be good to put stuff on, and I paid $10 for it, so I can probably sell it for more than that, but if not, it's functional. I love this old juicer I got. Lift it up, put the arms of the women in there, then juice. But yeah, I thought that was extremely neat there. A magazine rack. It's funny, I found this magazine rack. I found this at the place where I met Julian, but I had just sold this exact magazine rack in my booth, so I needed another one to put stuff in and happened to find it. And then this was my favorite thing I found all weekend. It's this really, I mean, I think it's kind of strange, but I'm not Catholic, so maybe it's not strange. So I didn't want to offend anybody by calling it strange, but it's metal. And I'd never seen a metal lithograph like this. It's from a company called John Duffy, but it's got some, like the imagery on it. You have Mother Mary holding the Jesus on the cross here, and then the angel's getting ready to put the crown of thorns on her head while the little cherubs, angels look down. The frame did have a little bit of wear, but I was mainly buying it for the sign. So that was, yeah, I mean, that's what I thought too. I thought it was just different than anything I've seen. I mean, I would have bought it just for the imagery, but the fact it was metal, in my mind, even made it cooler. Let's see. So looking forward to getting that cleaned up a little bit and getting it out to the booth. I've got to do some research to see how much I'm going to ask for it. I guess that's the artist's name right there. But I'm assuming it's a lithograph just done on metal. So as you can see, it's getting kind of cloudy here. See my backyard here. It's funny, those pine tree looking things down there, we planted those 12 years ago and they were like literally 1 foot tall, and now they're huge. And then let's see what we have over here. Got some old potato bags. Just things like that are good for Whatnot in my ephemera shows. And then labels, a whole bunch of pork and bean labels. Oh, and then these photograph albums I thought were really, really neat here. I think they're from the 60s, but they were from a Paris trip. So, but I like it's got that spider web looking stuff between the pages, but there were some cool photographs in here. There were a couple of the Eiffel Tower. So I haven't really looked through them that closely yet, but I've got 2 of those. I guess they're from the same trip. So anyway, there's a few more things in bags and stuff here, but that gives you a flavor of the types of things that I found. But yeah, it was a very fun trip and, somewhat productive. Even if I hadn't found anything, it was a beautiful drive out there. We went back roads the whole way from Knoxville. I went from Knoxville to Clinton, and then we went from Clinton to Crossville and did backward roads the whole way. Yeah, I thought so too, Humble Sunshine. I mean, it's one of my favorite things I've probably found this year. I just like finding odd stuff like that. And I I'm pretty sure I'll put it in my booth and it'll look really good there. I don't think it'll last long. Anytime I bring in any religious stuff like that, it always sells really quick. I had another thing I sold recently out of my booth that was like a shadow box that was like a religious thing with Mother Mary, and it was extremely cool too, and it sold really quick. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. That was just some of the stuff I found, and then I'm looking forward in middle of September. Hey, Outlaw Hippie Vintage, thanks for coming in. Becky Hoolander, thank you. Here in a couple of weeks, I'm going on another sourcing trip with my brothers. I have two brothers. I'm the oldest of three. And we're doing a brothers trip this year. We've got a house on Watts Bar Lake here in East Tennessee. And then we're just going to yard sale all weekend. My youngest brother has to work on Friday, but my middle brother and I, we're going to leave here probably, dark 30 and head out and yard sale all the way to the place we've rented. And then we'll all get up Saturday morning and go yard selling. We did it a couple of years ago and did really well, but we'll be kind of out in the country, so you tend to find a lot of primitives and things like that. So looking forward to that trip. It'll be good just to be with my brothers for ish as well, even if we don't find anything at all. And sorry if I've missed anything in the chat. Yeah, and that's kind of the pricing on that litho on metal. That's kind of what I was thinking, that I would probably, I'll probably clean it up a little bit. I won't do too much to it because I don't want to risk, messing it up. Just clean the frame up a little bit. The picture itself's in really good condition, and I'll probably put like 250 on it, and then, that gives me some room to come down. It's funny. We had this, the sayings, you can always come down, but you can't go up. So you tend to price your stuff higher in the booth because people make offers. So when at one of my booths, there used to be this older lady who had a booth there, and she was always real cranky. And the joke was always, you can always come down, but you can't go up unless you're Judy. Because she would get mad when somebody would like give her an offer, and then she would like, quote them twice as much. So that was always our joke around the mall. Hey, welcome in Denise Parr, the Astronom. Anybody else that I've missed, make sure you check out the Buy It Now. I have quite a bit of stuff in there. I'm always adding stuff. I'm, put a lot more than just ephemera in the Buy It Now, even though that's what I'm mainly doing my shows. And we also have our Franklin Hill Farms products in there, our private labeled pickles and salsas and jellies, and all those are real good. In fact, for breakfast this morning, I had toast with our blueberry preserves on it, and it was really good. My challenge with those is not to eat all my profits, especially the dilly beans. I tend to eat those a lot, and once I open a jar, I can't quit, and I eat the whole jar myself. And then the peach butter is the other thing that I have a hard time staying away from. So, it's not very far to walk from here to the garage where they are. So sometime I'll sneak out there and grab a jar. But anybody have any big plans for the week? My main thing's going to be getting ready for almost said Ephemerama, but it's Paper Palooza this month. Lily and Penguin Boss, I'm not sure if she's still in here or not, but she was in here earlier. We're kind of we are the co-organizers of the Ephemerama and Paper Palooza events. We do Ephemerama once a month, the second weekend of every month. And then Paper Palooza happens twice a year. And in the months we do Paper Palooza, we don't do an Ephemerama event. So Ephemerama is the smaller event. We've recently expanded it to 10 sellers. And then we expanded Paper Palooza this month to 36 sellers. So those events, if you know Popeye's Postcards and then New to You Provisions, John and Ben, they started that event. It's been pretty much, I think it's been exactly a year ago now, because we're at Paper Palooza 3, and their first event was a Paper Palooza last August. It's hard to believe it's been a whole year. But they started the event, and originally Paper Palooza was a 2-day event, and that was the first event I ever did. And then they did the Ephemeramus every month. And I think when they first started, they were just doing like 6 sellers. But the category's grown so much since then that, I think we expanded from 6 to 8. Then last month we went from 8 to 10. And I think we're going to keep Ephemerama at 10 sellers. And we're trying this 36 sellers. We've gone from a 2 day to a 3 day event for Paper Palooza. But just the demand for people to be in, not just our events, but events in general, the number of both sellers and buyers has grown so much on Whatnot. It's been fun to watch the platform grow. I've definitely seen. I can mainly talk about the ephemera category since that's where I sell. But I know, like, from when I first started selling ephemera and Whatnot to now, like the number of different buyers. I mean, it used to be, I used to call it the circular economy of Whatnot. I would sell to somebody and then they would sell my item to somebody else. And eventually it would come back to me. And, there's still some of that. There's a lot of resellers buying ephemera, but there do seem to be a whole lot more collectors now. So that's been nice. I mean, it's, prices have gone up some. You can still get some really good deals. I think a lot better deals than you can get on other places. But I think that helps bring more sellers to the platform when, prices start to go up a little bit. Um, if things go for too low, then you're going to have, people try it, then they won't stick around. So it's good for buyers, but not so good for sellers. So you want to find that balance where you have happy sellers and happy buyers. So, and I think we're very much there on Whatnot in the ephemera category. Um, and if anybody's a seller and has upcoming shows, feel free to promote your shows in the chat. Uh, this is such a great community. Um, you know, um, it's been so supportive to me, so I definitely like to support all the other people and Whatnot as well. Oh, you know what? My chat's frozen, so I wondered why nobody was talking. All right, I just refreshed it, so let me catch up here real quick. I was like, I'm just babbling on, and nobody's coming in the show, and nobody's talking. All right, so there's the last one I saw. That was Good Morning from Outlaw Hippie Vintage. Yeah, and I have learned so much on this platform as well. So everybody go check out Mary and Claude. They're having their 1,000 followers celebration tomorrow. That's an incredible milestone. I think I'm at around 26 or 2,700 followers now, so getting close to 3,000. So I'll probably do something when I hit 3K. I'm not exactly sure what yet. Speaking of milestones, if you follow me on Instagram, I don't know if you saw my reel that I put out there where I was dialing my phone number on the rotary phone this weekend. Normally if I put a reel out there, I mean, I'll get 50 people watch it who are interested in it. So this phone, when I put out there, it literally got 13,000 views, which is by far my most viewed reel either. I told my son that I've gone viral and I'm now an influencer. So just joking around with him, of course. I don't think one video an influencer makes, but it's still cool to see a video you put out there blow up like that. And then, I've been trying to make a more concerted effort to make content. I don't know that I'm ever going to be just like a big content creator, but I have been doing more YouTube videos. Yeah, and I think that's what you're right, Faded Love Vintage. I think just the young people probably said, "What the heck is this thing that he's dialing?" And then people of our generation, it brings back a lot of memories. But it's funny how many people said they remembered their old phone number, and I think I replied to somebody, what's funny today is you don't ever know anybody's phone number because you put it in your cell phone and you just, push their name. I mean, I can't tell you my parents' phone number. I can't tell you, well, I can tell you my wife's phone number because I guess she's had it so long. I used to have to dial it before I had a cell phone. But yeah, I mean, it's nobody knows phone numbers anymore. And it's amazing how many phone numbers as a kid you could memorize. I mean, you knew you probably knew 100 phone numbers at least that you could just rattle off from memory. And of course, it took forever to dial them. Fortunately, you didn't have to dial the area code for local calls back then. You just had to dial the 7 digits. But I mean, who remembers when the touch tone came out? It was so awesome to not have to to get to just like beep 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 and quickly dial a number. So party line, yeah. Somebody asked if I remembered, or if I had a party line, and we did not have a party line. So there's a new Instagram account for the category. Oh, that's cool. I will have to check that out and post some content out there and see what happens. So, hey, well, let me start this giveaway. I mean, I always do a giveaway to end the show, then we'll raid somebody. I try to give away something that's representative of the type of stuff I sell. So you have this peach wine label. I think it's vintage. It was bottled by the Dixie Wine Company in Petersburg, Virginia. So let me go ahead and start that. Just a small token of my appreciation for showing up and spending 30 minutes with me. So if you're interested in the vintage wine label, it's got some pretty cool artwork with the peach basket or the fruit basket there. So 78 away from 1,000. That is an exciting milestone. The more exciting one's when you hit 1,000 sales, since you get the instant payout. It's so nice. I had the Whatnot show Friday night. We did an ephemera show, and I think we sold, it's like between 50 and 60 items in about 2.5 hours. And, it's nice as soon as you package them up to get your money rather than having to wait till they're delivered. So, a challenge to try to use the rotary phone correctly. Yeah, that is funny. I mean, I've got 4 kids. My oldest is 27. My youngest is 22. So, I don't think any of them have ever used a rotary phone. Well, I mean, I know they, other than just playing around, maybe they played around with one, but, we certainly, I mean, we still have landlines. So they would have had probably the push button phones when they were kids. We always kept a landline as long as we had little kids because of the 911 stuff. I know 911's gotten better with cell phones, but I still think it's, if you have young kids around the house, it's still better to have a landline so that if somebody dials 911 and they can't talk or whatever, it gets to, they know exactly where to come. Yeah, and of course, you'd fight over having 2 brothers. Maybe it wasn't as bad as having sisters, but it'd always be like, David, get off the phone, or John, get off the phone. And um, and I can remember, I mean, my parents were really cheap, I guess is probably just the best way to put it. So we never had any of the extras on the phone. Like we didn't have call waiting. So, if you were out and trying to get in touch with somebody at the house, I mean, the phone would be busy for like hours with somebody talking on the phone, and, you'd sit there and just dial back and dial back. And I remember we finally got call waiting at one point, and that was kind of nice, I guess. Rural Route 3, Box 199F. Yeah, I had a street address as far as I remember. I mean, I was born in 67, and so from my first memories are early 70s sometime. And my address was 400 Center Oak Drive in Knoxville. Phone number was 573-2837. And it's funny how you remember that. And like I said in the Instagram reel, I mean, I literally can't remember what I wore yesterday or what I ate yesterday, but I can remember, my phone number from my house that I haven't had in 40 years or so. Like, I'll never forget it, I'm sure. Wow, 1997. So yeah, no, I like seeing like the old, doing the ephemera. You see so much, so many of the old phone numbers when they were like 4 digits, or what I like's on old letters. They'll address it to, like, Granny Lee, and they'll just put the city and state, and it would get there. Now, it would float around the system for a while, and who knows what would happen to it. But yeah, things definitely used to be a lot different than they are now. Hey, I appreciate everybody coming in here so much. We have over 20 people in here and have had for most of the show. I remember when I first started doing these Monday morning shows, I'd be lucky to get like one person come in here and listen to me ramble for 30 minutes. Um, but I'm more than happy if anybody's new on Whatnot. If you have any questions about the platform, I've been on it just over a year now. So yeah, you're right. It would end up in one of those bins where people buy the lost mail. Um, I was at a flea market a couple weeks ago and I saw that. When you look at it, you go, that's kind of tempting to do, but then it's all probably just crap. I mean, I would never get lucky enough to get some gold jewelry that somebody had mailed and it had been returned and unclaimed. Hey, Feed the Farm, RC Delabow, Sweet Mountain Violet, Jenna DMC. Yeah, cursive. Of course, I mean, my handwriting is so bad. What's funny, like, so if, in kindergarten, like I was looking through my baby book or something the other day or my folder of stuff, and there was a note in kindergarten about, bad handwriting. And then I looked at something from like 10 years later and my handwriting looked, oh, here comes the giveaway. Jordan from Balo. Hope I said that right. Congratulations. That'll ship out today. Um, but yeah, I would, um, yeah, my handwriting looked exactly the same like then, even as now. Like I'll find a book that was mine when I was a kid, and I would have my name written in there in the front. No, I don't have any trading cards today. Squatch sales. I do occasionally have trading cards, but I'm really not selling today, other than stuff that's in the buy it now. We'll be wrapping up here in just a second, so everybody can get to their day. We'll find somebody to raid here in a second as well. So please stick with me at least through the raid. I know it makes people's day when they get raided. I know I'm always excited when it happens to me. So we'll give somebody a boost of adrenaline, send 20 or so people over to them here in just a minute. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's been so long since I hardly ever write on paper. I type everything because my problems, I can't read my own handwriting. It's just so bad. And it's not even, how like doctors will have like, well, doctors, their handwriting's bad, but sometimes it's like got flair to it or something. Mine's just bad. It's just terrible. I mean, I'm left-handed, and I know I have a friend who's left-handed. His handwriting's absolutely beautiful, but whenever I write, I mean, I go over the stuff I've written, so I smear it, and that makes it even worse. And then you end up with, if you're using pencil, you end up with graphite all over your hand. If you're using pen, you end up with ink all over your hand. So the left-handed people issues that we have. Now, my son's left-handed, and his handwriting's not bad at all. Um, but I don't think it'd matter if I was left-handed or right-handed. My handwriting's just terrible. So anyway, so let me see if there's no other questions or anything, or nothing anybody wants to talk about this morning. I'm gonna look over here real quick and just see if there's anybody to raid this morning. So like I said, if you'll stick with me for just a minute, at least through the raid, so we can throw some people to their stream, and then. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great day and a great week. And make sure you check out Paper Palooza this weekend. It starts Friday at 10:45 a.m. of Lillian's channel, Penguin Boss. And then it'll be 12 hours of shows on Friday, 12 hours on Saturday, and 12 hours on Sunday. So should be a lot of fun and a lot of good stuff. I mean, for Paper Palooza especially, I think people try to pull some really good items. Um, I know I am. I'm starting completely from scratch. I'm not copying anything from previous shows or anything. So I'm trying to put a lot of really good stuff in there. Because normally when I just do my normal shows, I'll clone everything from show to show and then add stuff to fill in the holes. But I'm not doing that with Paper Palooza, so should be good. Okay, no ephemera streams going on. So let's just look at the antique ones here real quick. I try to rate somebody new every week, and I think I've rated. Let me just look in the estate sale categories. Or if anybody has a name they want to throw out of somebody we should raid, let me know. I'll be glad to raid whoever. Let's see. I was going to look in the estate sale category next. There's just not a lot of shows going on this time of the morning in ephemera or in antiques. Yeah, I think I rated Cool Wolf last week, or but I mean, not that there's anything wrong with rating the same person twice. Let me look in this category real quick, and then if there's nobody there, we'll rate them. So, oh, there's nothing even going on in the estate sale category this morning. So yeah, we'll go ahead and rate. I guess we'll rate Cool Wolf because that seems to be it's kind of a slow morning for shows this morning. But once again, I really appreciate everybody stopping by, and um, yeah, I hope to see you this weekend. If you're ever coming through Knoxville, make sure you stop off and check out my antique booths. I have one at West End Antiques and Bearden Antique Mall in Knoxville. Both of those are not too far off the interstate. Then we're in Clinton, Tennessee at Granny's Attic, which, if you've ever been to Clinton, it's considered a top 10 antiquing destination. So there's a bunch of antique malls all within walking distance. So let me go ahead and get this raid started. Then I'm getting ready to go to the auction house to drop some stuff off that I'm going to sell through an auction, and um, then come home and start getting ready for my show this weekend. So let's see. Cool Wolf. All right, we're headed over to Cool Wolf 101. Stick around till we get over there and say good morning to them. And then everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you this weekend or next Monday. You too, Humble Sunshine. Bye, Lillian.